start things off, we're going to have Rick come up and give another speech.
That sounds like fun.
You don't need me to stand here and tell you how fast things are percolating all over the metro right now. In nearly every segment. In fact, over the past few months, we brought in over 20 real estate professionals as part of a variety of roundtables that we're doing, not only to prepare for today's event, but also for some content in the annual real estate magazine, which is distributed at everybody's tables today. I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end today. But there were some definite themes and questions that kind of arose, and just a couple of those that kind of percolated that I found interesting. Out-of-town investors are taking a liking to Des Moines. That's something that we've been hearing now. We heard talk of the potential for some office spec as well, along with some whispers about the potential for national retailers going downtown, and even some question about whether that would or would not happen. The environment, office design, millennials, the intersection of all those things in planning cities and in development, that was a common theme across all the different industries that we talked to. And another topic, we have over 2,000 units planning to come online just in downtown, multifamily, over the next year or so, and potential for more, of course, always. And how that interplay plays out and how that's absorbed and what the impact would be in the suburbs, I think is another issue that came up in a variety of different ways as we were preparing. The fact is there's going to be way more than we're able to talk about today. And I think that's okay. We're going to try to touch on some of the key issues, and I think we've got the panelists that can do that for you today. With us today, of course, is Rick Tollakson, President and CEO of Hubbell Realty Co. Also, we have Erin Douglas. She's an urban designer with the city of Des Moines. Gerry Neugent, the President and CEO of Knapp Properties. And Jackie Johansen, who's in charge of marketing and acquisition for R&R Equity Partners. And like Carol said, as a reminder, this is a Q&A, so make sure to have your questions ready. I'm going to have the first question to kind of get us started off, maybe a follow-up, and I'll chime in from time to time, but really do want to have your guys' questions coming in from the audience to help drive where we're going today. So to start things off, we're going to have each of the panelists give one trend or an issue or a challenge that we can expect to be dealing with in 2016 and beyond. And why don't we go ahead, Rick, you can have some time to think. And we'll go ahead and start all the way down at the end with Jackie.
Very good. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. One of the things that we're seeing in this economy is that we're at an all-time high for global investments in commercial real estate. So that's having a ripple effect. So we have our international REITs that are buying in the gateway cities on the coast. So the investors that are usually investing in those cities are going to secondary and tertiary markets like Des Moines. So if you look at sale transactions from today back to January of 2014, we're seeing a strong trend. That is 28%, for example, of office sale transactions are by out-of-state or out-of-country buyers. And in the industrial side, we're at 31% of those sales transactions are coming from out of state. And on the land sales side, it's as high as 56% from out of state or out of country investors. So that is coming from this nationwide trend, and we're starting to feel this in Iowa. So that's causing some cap rate compression on the coasts. So you might see cap rates from 4 to 6% on the coast, but here in Des Moines, where we have this strong, stable economy, our average cap rates are more like 6 to 8%. So I really feel like we'll continue to see this trend, and there's definitely pros and cons of that trend that we can talk about later. But that's a strong trend, and I see that continuing over the next year or so.
Gerry?
Okay, I think the biggest issue that faces us as real estate developers is the recognition of maybe societal changes that require us to be responsive and to pivot planning. And for example, you know, online buying and the lifestyle and buying habits of society today, particularly the younger generation, have changed and affect real estate in several ways. One, it changes retail. So, you know, for example, if you designed a retail development that would accommodate big and medium boxes maybe 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 6 years ago, there aren't those types of tenants except maybe around very concentrated retail areas like the mall and the like. So it requires us to change our design on these types of developments to more of a lifestyle center, smaller, commercial, maybe mix in some residential. And that is the key to, I think, success, is being able to be responsive and to recognize those trends. Another way that that change affects is the industrial market. The on-time delivery, the online sales have really changed the distribution and warehousing needs of the United States. And we're seeing it here. We've had a real boom in industrial properties, and it's quite frankly a result of these societal changes. So our challenge and our issue is to recognize these types of things and hopefully respond correctly.
Erin?
One of the trends that I think has become much more pronounced in my time with the city, which is approaching 10 years now, is the embracing and recognition of increasing value of urbanity. And I think this is happening in a number of ways. We've recognized that having an active, vibrant urban core is an imperative as a competitive advantage for the region at large. We have begun valuing our limited land resources higher than previous times. So we're seeing increased density. We're seeing infill on sites. We're seeing projects come in at places where we might not used to have seen them. And I'm thinking of some projects that Hubbell has done recently in downtown, is working on in downtown on not large sites where you can put in 500 housing units, but you're looking at 75 or 80. And they are not 2 stories, but 5, 6, 7 stories. So we're seeing some of that density and infill bringing higher values to our land areas as a limited resource. We're continuing a tradition of building with quality. So as Des Moines has had over, ever since its creation, we have a tradition of building with quality. So if you look at some of the buildings at Drake, if you look at some of the buildings along the riverfront, those are really high quality buildings. And we have seen increased investment in some of those places. So for example, a principal right now is reinvesting in their already quality building stock to the tune of $250 million without building a new building. They are reinventing their corporate headquarters, bringing higher value to their existing building stock. We see Come and Go in their Cross Gateway Center really investing in a quality building along Gateway Park. And then walkability. So that's become I think a real touch point in downtown in particular, where it's a popular planning term, so I'm excited about it. But honestly, it's coming at us from corporate leaders. So as Cross Gateway Center is coming online, they are wanting to do some things that really increase the ability for that workforce to be able to come and go. Pardon, that was not to nearby restaurants, to Gateway Park, to the other amenities that downtown has to offer, and potentially as a housing location for some of that workforce. So, like I said, I come at economic development by way of architecture, planning, and urban design. So I'm obviously very excited about this trend towards greater urbanity here locally. And it's obviously good for the city, the entity that I work for. But I also think it's really, really good for the region, that having a truly urban center with an 18-hour downtown where millennials want to live, where even people with families want to live, offers a competitive advantage as we try to attract quality workforce to this region.
Great.
Well, I probably should address housing a little bit because we're in that industry, so we can see what kind of trends. Yes, there's a big boom going on in downtown, and yes, we all have huge waiting lists of people. I get nervous a little bit. We may have the same, 300 or 400 people on every waiting list. So we're going to find out because we're going to be delivering in the next year and a half or so, 1,200 plus units. And we're going to find out in all price points, in all categories, and we're going to see just how strong downtown is. Because at the same time, the suburbs are also adding a large number of units, especially around Jordan Creek Mall. A lot of out-of-town developers building a lot of product over there. Occupancies around the whole metro area is still staying very strong. You know, I think we looked at our portfolio, we're at 97%. On a portfolio of around 4,000 units. That's a pretty high percentage. We're feeling pretty good. But we see what's happening out there. We're starting to see a little more concessions having to be given, a lot more competition because everyone keeps adding units, okay, a lot of them. And then we're going to see downtown, never seen 1,200 units happen within the same probably 12-month period. And we're going to see it happening downtown. I think we can absorb them all. We're counting on it. Believe me, we're counting on it. At the same time, you look at single-family housing, you probably read the paper. If you have an existing home, now's a great time to sell because, yeah, I mean, you're getting multiple offers in your home. You can sell your home within a week. New homes, since the middle of January, we've been selling over a home a day. Okay? People are buying homes. A lot of these people that are renting homes, you know, first-time home buyers, they're renting homes, they're buying homes. They're moving in apartments and they're buying homes. We're seeing that trend. It's a lot of velocity out there in housing, period. Everybody asks me, where do all these people come from? Well, we're hiring them. I mean, we have a great employment base here. And as employment growth continues, we're going to keep finding. We need housing, downtown housing, suburban housing, everything. And we're in a high growth industry.